and welcome back to the Artist Desk. Today just doing a quick video on some things that I've just recently purchased and a bit of artwork that I've done with these, and just letting you know where I've got them from and what they're like. And I actually need to do one colour swatch with this one here, not that it's actually colour, it's grayscale, as you can see. So these were purchased for $7.99 a pack of 12 from Aldi, and Aldi here is in Australia. I think every state has one, I'm pretty sure. And every now and then, if anyone's familiar with the Aldi stores, they do have different specials that they have on just one-offs and stuff like that from time to time. And every now and then you get some art supplies, and this is the brand that they tend to get a lot of. I've already purchased this brand watercolors. I think I got some pencils as well, some colouring pencils as well. And I did notice that these were on the table where they do all their stuff, and I missed out on the last lot, but I thought if they come around again I will get them for sure. So pack of 12, as I said. We've got brights, we've got pastels, and I got these ones today, the grayscale, because I needed a few more greys. And this, I didn't actually think I was going to ever use these. I've seen them, as I said, I've seen these there before, but just didn't think I was going to use them. So because I've been doing a lot of sketching with markers and using that as my these little, I'll just pop these forward so I can show you what I'm talking about. All my little price tags that I do. I've been using the Sharpies, coloured Sharpies for these, and I started to really enjoy using ink markers or alcohol markers, graphic markers. So I thought, well, I'll give these a go and see what they're like, and I'm so far pretty impressed. So I've already done the colour swatches on these and these, and it just turns out that the little price tag is a perfect little swatch that goes down the side in the container. So as you can see, they're all numbered to coincide with the actual number on the lid, and they are double-ended markers. So you've got a chisel tip on one end and so it says chisel tip, which is like that, and then the other end is a round fine point or round tip, but it's actually quite small and fine. So they're really good. The colours are pretty good. As I said, I always will swatch them so I know exactly how it's going to turn out, because they do lighten up once they dry. They dry very, very fast, as most people will know if they've used graphic markers or alcohol based markers. That's what happens. So what I wanted to do was another colour swatch, or a swatch for the grayscale ones. So all done. I didn't put that round the right way. I wasn't really going for a light to dark, but I should have once I started. So that's what they look like, and I just did on the end here the fine tip just to show you how fine it does go. They do bleed a little bit, so I have to be very careful when I'm doing fine detail work on these, that they don't bleed past the outline. I noticed that it has done it on another bit of absorbent, like a paper that I've got, a sketch paper that I've got. The actual paper is quite absorbent and it tends to bleed. I'll show you in a minute anyway, because that's what I wanted to actually show you what I've done with these. So I'll just pop these out the way and we'll get onto it. So that's what that was for, and it goes down in there, and voila. There was using these markers, and that's how they come out. I don't think I used any other brand, maybe this, I'm not sure, because I didn't have a black. So no, these would be my Sharpies coloured markers, because I didn't have a black in that range here. That's why I have just bought the grayscale. So I've got a few different options with blacks and greys. Excuse me. And that turned out really well. Now that picture, I will show you just quickly where this one come from. So I started a canvas, and this was my composition, and I'll tell you the reasons for why I did it in here. So right, there it is on my wall, and I've just got it up on the wall because it's out of the way and I can see it from without any other things around it, like when I normally have it sitting on my easel. I've got too much there to distract me from it, so I've just popped it up there. So I'm having trouble with what I'm going to do in this section here, and I'm going to use pattern of some description, but at the moment I've just left it there. I'm going to get some other ideas from doing what I'm just doing with the little tiny sketchbook. So I'll take you back now to the desk. Rightio, back we are at the desk. Now that's why I did it, because I've used this as an example, I guess, and put in some pattern. I'm thinking I like the zigzag, not sure on the colour, but that's okay. And then I did a window in the background with stained glass, and then I put some little polka dot type of things on the wall. I'm happier with it, but it's not going to necessarily end up on that canvas. But I did use these, as I said, so that's what they will do, and they will bleed through. But I actually don't mind the back of the paper with this on it. It actually looks almost more abstracted is the word. And then I did this one as well. So using the same type of composition with the table and whatever, and it was trying to get more pattern, and that was actually from, I'll just find it in here quickly, this one here. This was actually is it Matisse? I think it's Matisse. Yes, it is. So Matisse, who I am very fond of his work, because he was all about pattern and colour, and this is what I was using to create sort of a pattern like this. But of course I've got more green than the grey background, but basically that's how I got that. Other little notebook that I got was also from, because I really like this little size, and as I said, this is just that little cheap, inexpensive one from a little cheap shop, and the paper is just quite thin and it will buckle, but it does hold up quite well to watercolor and other media like gouache. I don't know if I've done gouache in here. Yes, I have actually, and markers, of course. The only thing with markers that because it's quite thin, is to put a little sheet in underneath of some description so it doesn't bleed through, because that's what I was ending up doing, was it was going through to the next page. So I've got to just keep remembering to do that. There was a piece of paper that I had in there permanently, but I don't know what I've done with it now. It's disappeared. I have to make a new one. This was a different store that I got it from, but same type of setup. So blank pages, they lay flat. It's just a little notebook with tear off paper in it, and just a different size, which I didn't mind this long size, so I can do a reasonably, like full size one. And I did a bit of a test of watercolor. Nothing fantastic. It was just a matter of trying to do it and get stuff down on here to see how it would go. And a couple of neo colors I did in there as well. And that didn't really bleed through much, so I was quite happy with that, how that turned out. And then this one was just using all the Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 water soluble wax pastels, and just messing around with it basically. So that was that one. Now next, so I had a pack of tea towels that I purchased, and in amongst them, it was all based on an Australiana theme, was a design that looked like that on the actual tea towel itself, and I loved it. I just loved that composition. I loved this color. It was very much like a ultramarine blue, and the pink background, then the gum leaves, so it's got flowering gum, got a Banksia type of thing here. This was wattle. I don't know what these flowers were, and then some pink little spray of flowers in the background. So I drew it on here. This is another cheap scrappy paper, and I just loved it. I had it put up on my little wall in front of me, and decided I'd do a couple more. So I did this one, and this one is using those markers. Colors like the background color is actually, that background color, believe it or not, is this one here. You wouldn't think it, but that is it there. It turns out to go a little bit sort of orangey. Oh, I think it was. Yeah, pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was. I haven't finished the stripes. I've actually realised last night when I packed it all away that I hadn't put the brown. I'll need to have this a darker colour. But see, if I zoom in, I'm just trying not to let this bounce around like it does. You can see what I'm talking about with the bleeding into past the line, because this paper, and it's not so much the marker, it's more of this paper, is really absorbent, and I have to be really careful when I'm using the markers, because with this particular paper, it's not as bad when you're using a paper like that, but this one in particular. So, but actually I don't really mind. That was that one there, and then I'm bouncing around, trying to steady that. Then I did it on paper. Well, not exactly the same, but I'll show you in a minute. Just wanted to show you the back of this though. How cool is that? See, this is really absorbent paper, and it just bleeds straight through. But I actually really like the back view of that. Didn't do it on this one though. Paper was different, but I continued that theme and did some more on paper. And this is just newsprint paper that the cover sheets, they call these cover sheets that the news agencies, when they receive their bundles of newspaper in, they're covered with just a plain sheet of newspaper so they don't get damaged. And they normally give them away to schools and stuff, or kindergarten, so that kids can paint on them. And it actually does hold up really well with paint. And I think this is acrylic ink. I outlined it just really quickly because this was just a test to see what this paper was going to do. And of course it bled through a little bit on the back. The inks mainly did that because they're so watery, but the paint itself was fine, and I used some Posca pens in here, and then I was really rough with the paint brushes, and it pretty well held up really well. I wanted to do this on here. Don't you just love that sound? Crunchy. I love that sound. I did this because I will show you something I did on a different type of paper, but it was a cheap paper and I really liked how it all turned out. Okay, here it is here. This is the paper here I'm referring to, and I got a funny feeling it could be butcher's paper because it was a really large piece, a lot bigger than this. This has all been cut down, but it was like 3 times the size. And the reason why I'm thinking it might be butcher's paper is because it held up really well to the paint. That paint that you can see on the back is actually acrylic inks, and that bled through straight away as soon as I applied it to it. And then I used acrylic, just normal acrylic paints over the top. It wasn't dried much in between layers, so it stayed wet for pretty well the whole time. And I had added on layers here. You can see some of the layers in the background there, and you can also see how rough I was with the brush strokes, and it just didn't deteriorate the paper. Like, I really thought it was going to get holes in it and stuff, and when I let it dry, it didn't curl up or anything, and it just dried like that, and that was it. So I'm gonna find that paper. I want to find it again. And I reckon if I go to a butcher shop, I'm pretty sure that's where I will find it. This is another little one too, I'll just show you. This is using gouache paint, and I just love that paint. I just think it's so, I don't know, vibrant, textural, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to actually change this pot here because I'm not sure if I like that. It's too dull looking. This is a couple of little ones I did. This one has got acrylic paints and inks and Posca pens. This is those markers again. So that's how vibrant they come out. I did this tonight. I only did that a little while ago, and I was filming it and then accidentally deleted it from my camera. So I haven't got that to show how it was done. But yeah, it's just markers, those markers, these ones here. So they come out really nice. And then that was a quick sketch I did of my son. And then that was the one I was showing you just before this one here. So that is all I have to show you. I have to go and get back to doing some more editing, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great week, everyone, and go out and create.